He got drafted in the first round, 6th overall.
Yeah, 6th overall, and
he was supposed to go what?
Yeah, he was considered a reach. Like a lot of people were saying, maybe they were saying top 20.
What's up, guys? You're listening to the number one NHL podcast. We are your young guns. The NHL season is about to start in a couple of weeks, and with that, we have NHL predictions. So today we're going to be discussing the Calder candidates for the 2021-2022 NHL season. Everyone's favorite to win this year is Caufield.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The GOAT.
To me, I mean, it's pretty simple with Caufield. Played with Suzuki last year, was great. Played in the playoffs, was great. Came in the NHL team, was great. Like
machine on 3-on-3.
Yeah, that helps. But like, I found when he first came into the league last year, Caufield, it was kind of like, okay, what's the expectation for him, right? Because a lot of people hyped him up really, really big. I was one of them. I love Cole Caufield. The moment they drafted him, I loved it. But to me, I found there was a bit of an expectation, like, okay, he's coming into the NHL. What are we expecting from this kid? We don't really know. We're expecting this guy to come in and solve our problems. And he did. In the playoffs, he helped a lot.
Well, a lot of people were disappointed with his performance in World Juniors because another guy we're going to be talking about, Trevor Zegras, outperformed him.
But, I mean, the other thing, too, like World Juniors, it's small sample sizes, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's the biggest thing. World Juniors are hit or miss. They always are. McDavid, 1 year in the World Juniors, didn't do great either. Suzuki didn't have a great World Juniors.
Well, Lafreniere had an insane World Juniors.
That's it. And then look, last year in his NHL rookie year, he wasn't great. So there's definitely things that you can look at for different players. Obviously, Zegras outperformed in the World Juniors, but also Zegras played a bigger role in the World Juniors than Cole Caufield did. And I don't think they used Cole Caufield properly.
They didn't.
With that being said, Cole Caufield last year, if anybody watched the Canadiens playoff run, you could see that Cole Caufield belonged in the NHL, and you could see that he's a top 6 forward. And in my opinion, you watch him play, and he's a guy who can get 30 goals. He's a guy who can get 60 points, and I think he's a guy who can win a Calder Trophy. He's won pretty much everything you can possibly win as a junior player, as a sophomore. Going into the NCAA, he won the Hobie Baker Award as the best player in university. He's good at, he's capable of winning those types of awards, which is why I think Cole Caufield, in my opinion, is the favorite to win. But close second, and I think the guy who's going to give him the run for his money, Trevor Zegras, is going to be up there too.
Well, yeah, but you also have to look at what he's done in the playoffs as well, Cole Caufield.
For sure.
He has the most experience out of all the guys we're going to talk about.
He went all the way to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah,
he hasn't even played his full first season in the NHL. He already went.
He was put in a lot of good situations. Was it consistently done? No, there was times where he was playing on the second power play unit instead of the first power play unit.
Yeah, but he played. The point is that when he was playing, he played well.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't matter where he first or second power play.
But he's going to be utilized so much better this season because they know what he brings to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, he's going to be playing first-line minutes.
First-line minutes as well.
Easily.
He's not going to start off on the third line like he did originally when he first made his NHL debut.
He's earned that first line. He's earned those first-line minutes.
He has easily one of the best shots in NHL. People have compared his shots to Ovechkin. I don't think it's there yet. I think he needs to still work on it in order to get to Ovechkin's shot, because Ovechkin's shot is fucking lethal.
Ovechkin and Matthews' shot, the two
fantastic.
most lethal in the league, in my opinion. But
as you saw in in his, not only his rookie,
it's not really
quote unquote season last year, but also
a rookie season, but
quote unquote rookie season, whatever, and also what he's done in the juniors. And also in the NCAA, is that this guy could shoot from anywhere, and he could actually get the puck in the net at the same time.
Dude, I was watching. There was a few games last year where I was watching, and if you pay attention to Caufield, every time he shoots the puck, he either hits the post or the goalie doesn't know where the puck is. The kid has this shot where it's even in the playoffs last year, I think Caufield in the playoffs last year, there was a couple of games where I'm this kid could have a hat trick if he just fucking shot the puck.
He was hesitant a couple of times.
Yeah, of course, obviously. Lie. I don't blame the kid.
Happens first couple of games.
That's it.
He needs to have more confidence
every time he would shoot the puck, Caufield, if the goalie didn't save it, he hit the post. And I'm holy crap, bro. This kid if he gets it in the net, like he could have like 10 goals by now.
If he has a really good
So-
season, I could even see him cracking the American Olympics team this year.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
100%.
that's a bit like
On the
much.
fourth line, you know, or at least like, you know, as a call up. Maybe he's not
For
gonna.
sure,
play
but
on the
there's a lot of
starting
good
lineup, but, you know,
Americans. But another good American, and I think the one that and his teammate actually at the World Juniors, Trevor Zegras. For me, great player. Had a really good season when he came into the NHL. Obviously struggled a bit, went down to San Diego, and then came back up and had a better second stint when he came back up. But Zegras, again, right? Like you said, had a great World Juniors, looked fantastic. Everybody talked about how great he was in the World Juniors, and he was fantastic. With that being said, I think for me, the biggest question mark with Zegras is who does he have around him, and how much benefit is that going to be? How much benefit is it going to be to have guys on his team who aren't really offensively gifted in Anaheim? I mean, he's got Drysdale there, but
He's got decent guys. Not
Yeah.
like as good as.
That's
like,
Raquel, even though he's trade bait.
Well, what I'm saying is the Ducks don't have, like in Montreal. with
Yeah, you got a
Caufield,
bunch of scorers and passers.
Yeah, you look
and
In
at
solid
Montreal,
players.
they've got playmaking players and stuff. And Zegras is a playmaker, but he's got nobody to put the puck in the net for him.
Like
You know what I mean?
Cole Caulfield's points are going to be generated off the power play easily.
No.
Yes, majority of them. Majority of them.
and-
You have Mike Hoffman,
I don't know.
power play
No,
specialist.
he was good 5-on-5. Caufield was great 5-on-5.
I know, I understand that.
I don't think
but
most of his
Montreal's
points are
power
power
play is
play.
going to be so much more improved with guys like Mike Hoffman. You have also Tyler Toffoli, you have Jeff Petrie, you have Nick Suzuki, and you have Cole Caulfield as well.
Even
I mean, yeah,
Gallagher.
you could throw Gallagher in there too. So I mean, Montreal's more of an offensive threat overall compared to the Anaheim Ducks.
sure.
So Caufield is in a better spot right now and has more support. Whereas Zegras, maybe it's going to benefit him that he has no one. It's going to push him to work harder. He has the talent.
For sure,
He
but
has the
you know how
talent.
much pressure it is to throw on a kid like that, especially a kid who, I mean,
There's
yeah,
no
he had-
expectations.
Yeah, there is low. They're
There's
very
low expectations
There's
with
very
the Ducks.
expectations.
low expectations, but also like you have to understand the Ducks drafted him with the vision that okay, this guy when he comes to the NHL is going to be the guy. He's going to be an elite center. Like
He will.
He is. He, in my opinion, he is, and he will be. But to throw all that pressure on a kid and be like, hey, you know what? Take the team on your back and like run with it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he could do it. He did it in the World Juniors. It's just a question of will he be able to do it in Anaheim with the support. In the World Junior team that he had with the Americans, he had some guys that were fantastic players next to him,
Yeah, of
which
course.
benefited him too. In Anaheim, I don't really know if he's got that player or that guy that like because Zegras is a playmaker, right? Who's he gonna give the puck to that's gonna put that they're gonna put in the back of the net? You know what I mean? There's nobody there
I
really
mean,
in
Raquel
Anaheim.
is a pretty good shooter.
Yeah,
even
but he's
though-
not a guy who, in
might
my
get
opinion,
traded.
I don't think Rickard Raquel's a guy who could score 30 goals anymore. I think he's a guy who got maybe 20, 25, but besides,
true.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a 30-goal scorer anymore. Like you need to give Zegras a guy who can put the puck in the net. That's me personally. That's how I see
Well, I
it.
mean, you have Sam Steele. You have good prospects coming up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's such a mismatched like team right now. You have
yeah,
guys
they're
that are at the end of
confusing.
their career like Getzlav. You have guys that are upcoming like Sam Steele and
That's it.
Drysdale. Okay, and
Well,
then you have
Drysdale too, though. Drysdale too. Like he's a guy on the power play. He's an offensive defenseman. Drysdale. I think he's gonna have a good year offensively because he can put the puck in the net. He's good at he's good at bringing the puck up the ice. He's really good at moving the puck.
Great skater.
Great skater too. Fantastic.
he's going to
skater,
be a
actually.
legitimate number one defenseman.
That's
on
it.
that
So I
team.
think him and Zegras are.
Well, I
gonna
mean,
work.
there's not really that much
I
to
mean,
compete with.
No,
on
but
that
what I'm
defense.
saying is like him and Zegras are going to really like be the guys next year in Anaheim, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they do. Drysdale, I think, could also compete for the Calder. I think if he has a season where he decides, you know what, I'm going to get 40 points as a defenseman.
but they don't have like horrible defense. They have guys
No,
that could
for sure.
help Drysdale. You know, Cam
Yeah, I
Fowler.
mean, it's guaranteed he's going to be in the top four.
It's that's it. He's guaranteed he's going to be in the top four. But the other thing is too, I find Drysdale's going to have more freedom because I think the Ducks defensemen are going to play more of a stay back role where they're going to like Drysdale kind of move up with the puck and kind of let him do his thing.
Apart from Fowler, who else?
He
do they
reminds
have?
me. He reminds me of
No one that great.
He reminds me of Quinn Hughes, Drysdale. He's very good offensively, but defensively he needs to still work on his game a little bit. That's how I see it with Drysdale. But no, him and Zegras are, in my opinion, they're going to be dark horses because
Not dark horses. They're going to be in top 5 contention.
Well, yeah, top 5 contender, but the dark horse to win it. I'm saying, like, to me, I think Drysdale's more of a reach compared to Zegras. I think Zegras has a lot more potential to win it. But Drysdale's a guy who, if he gets on a hot streak and puts a few pucks in the net, he's
going to be one of the best puck moving defensemen this season.
Yeah.
I mean, in regards to
I think he already is, bro. I think if you watch him play, like the guy brings the puck up his zone entries and his exits are like crazy. Really
Those
nice.
two guys are going to be pivotal parts of the Ducks moving forward in the future.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of guys that are I see not being part of the organization very soon. You have Getzlav that's going to retire. I see Raquel and Caufield being traded because obviously they're a rebuilding team, so they're going to be considered sellers at this year's trade deadline. And you have a lot of good prospects, like we mentioned before, coming up. So those two guys on the back end, on defense and on forward, are really going to be the two main guys that are going to be the face of the Anaheim Ducks moving forward.
Well, and here's the thing. So, like, the Ducks, obviously, they've had some good things. I think we've established that the Ducks have two young guys who can really do a lot of good things. For me, another young guy who's, in my opinion, kind of underrated, I don't think gets a lot of appreciation, Moritz Seider of Detroit. A lot of people are talking about him being really, really good. I know last year he didn't play in the AHL. He went to Sweden. 28 points in 41 games in a men's league at 20 years old is very, very good.
So there's high expectations with
I know, on bigger ice surface.
Well,
too.
high expectations because they went completely off the board
That
to
too,
draft him.
He played on a bigger ice surface too, so it was more space, which
that
helped him. But also when he was in the AHL, 22 points in 49 games, so he did well when he was in pro. He's been pro this whole time. He played pro in Germany too. So I think with Seider, to be honest, I haven't seen much of Moritz Seider a lot, but from what I've seen, he's a guy he's good at moving the puck, but he's very good defensively too. He's more of a two-way defenseman. Doesn't really have offensive.
Well, he's definitely gonna get power play minutes.
He's a power play. He's gonna be a power play specialist too. He's great at shooting the puck. He's more of a passer. Doesn't really shoot the puck a lot, but when he shoots, he tends to score. But he's more of a passer. He passes the puck. He tries to set up. He's a setup guy on the power play. He's the guy that he'll quarterback a power play for you. Like,
so who do you see him playing with on his defensive pairing?
I mean, Detroit's kind of a young team. I could see him playing with Roenick. If he comes in, he could play with Philip Roenick. Yeah. And I think him and Roenick.
He had a good season last year, too.
Yeah, that's it. So I think him and Roenick together would make a lot of sense. But he needs, or even a guy like, a Mark Stahl type of defenseman. And the reason I say Mark Stahl is because.
He's going to be a good mentor for him.
That's what I'm saying. And I think because of the fact that Mark Stahl is more of a defensively gifted defenseman, or defensive defenseman, right? I think with Moritz Seider, the fact that he's more offensive gets him more freedom, right? Like we talked about it with Drysdale. It's about having freedom and letting the players do what they want.
But I think that's why they re-signed him, because they had that expectation that this guy is going to make the team off the bat.
He's going to help Seider, and I think Detroit expects Seider to come in this year and be ready to go, and hopefully,
And there's a lot of pressure on this guy. Because one, he got drafted in the first round, 6th overall.
Yeah, 6th overall, and he was
supposed to go what?
Yeah, he was considered a reach. Like a lot of people were saying, maybe they were saying top 20, but they weren't saying like 6 was like, okay.
So he's kind of like a.
He was supposed to
I don't know. I don't judge Steve Eiserman's picks. That guy's a legend.
Steve Eiserman knows what
he's one of the best.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Steve Eiserman knows what he's doing.
The world and also in the NHL. I think he is the best GM in the NHL. Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Well,
he built the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, he drafted well in Tampa, and I think he's drafted well so far in Detroit too. But no, I think Seider's a guy who, when they drafted him, they were like, the guy's kind of a reach. But also, like, you look at it and you're like, okay, he's a reach. And then you watch him play in the AHL and you watch him play in the Swedish league, and you're like, okay, maybe this guy might actually be that defenseman that they expect him to be.
It's very similar to Kotkaniemi's situation, where he was considered a reach as well to be drafted.
Yeah, but Kotkaniemi was different because Kotkaniemi he was considered a reach at 3, but he wasn't considered, like, he was supposed to go top 10. Like, he was ranked top 10. He was going to go in the top 10.
Some people had him at 16.
Yeah, some people had him at 16, but like he was going to go top 10. He was the best center in the draft. So
because both these players played overseas in men's leagues. It's not
which helps
in the juniors,
which helps.
So that's why GMs are inclined to select guys like that, because they're like, okay, these guys can make the transition to the NHL easier.
But it's not the same when you play in men's league in Europe. Don't they have more ice space? It's a lot. But it's not as fast.
That's it. But also the other thing that I'm gonna tell you,
maturity level too. You got to take that into consideration.
One thing that I'm gonna tell you is, if you're a young guy, like let's say you go to the KHL, right? The KHL is the second best league in the world in Russia, whatever. You get there, if you're an 18-year-old kid playing in a KHL with guys who have been there for 5-6 years, like there's a difference, right? And if you're an 18-year-old kid keeping up with a 26-year-old KHL guy who averages like 50 points a year, that's impressive. Like obviously the bigger ice surface helps because there's more ice and there's more room and you can do a lot more things. But just playing with the men, gaining the experience of playing with professional hockey players and not playing with junior players, it makes a big difference in development.
But also, this guy is going to flourish because, as we spoke about Zegras and Drysdale, they're all being given the room to play and the minutes.
Yeah. They're going to be. Sider hasn't played in the NHL yet, but he's going to be given.
That's what I'm saying. They're rebuilding teams. So these guys are going to be pivotal parts of their future moving forward.
Yep.
So you got to throw these guys into the situations because you need guys to play. You know, might as well play your future than some old geezer that's going to retire next year or some depth forward or some AHLer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
These guys need experience. So moving forward in this NHL season, that's why a lot of people are thinking they're going to take the next step. And that's what pins them like next to a guy like Caufield.
Yeah.
Even though Caufield has the most experience, he's played the most games out of everybody that we're going to mention on this list.
Yeah. Well, I think like you said, right? It's all about like the minutes, and the minutes are going to be big, especially for these young players. But I think like you got to spread out the minutes with guys that I think are worth giving minutes to. And I think Sider's the defenseman that absolutely deserves it, and I think everybody's excited to see what he's going to do in the NHL level. I know I am because I like him a lot. One guy that I want to talk about, and this one's a bit of a reach because he's a goaltender, and goaltenders don't necessarily win Calder trophies. But I think if there's one guy that can win it, it's Spencer Knight. And Spencer Knight, for me, when he came into the NHL last year, right, he signed his entry-level contract. He joined Florida, and then it was the goalie carousel between him, Chris Drieger, and Sergei Bobrovsky, and he outperformed both of them. And
100%.
100%.
It wasn't even about like I don't even think it was close. Like Spencer Knight came in, and it looked like he was playing in the NHL for like 5 years. Like he came in and was like, "Yo, like this is my spot." Like you just lost your job. Like he went 4-0 in the in this regular season, and then he went 1-1 in the playoffs. Obviously lost Game 6.
I mean, he played against Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
And
throwing him into the wolves at that point.
He played it. Mind you, it's a small sample size. He only played 6 games total, playoffs and regular season. But in those 6 games, he was fantastic. Like he was fantastic. And like there's one thing like with Spencer Knight, like they talked about him when they drafted him, that this is probably the best goalie we've seen since Andrei Vasilevsky. And I think in the first 6 games, he's shown that like he's a great goal. Like I love Spencer Knight. I think he's fantastic. And I think if there's one guy that can win a Calder Trophy as a goalie, it's him. And the only reason why is I think he could take Florida as far as.
Well, they have a good team.
They have a good team this year.
That's
They have
it,
a
but
great
he
team.
could take Florida as far as.
I think they'll
possibly
finish
can go.
first.
And the Atlantic.
Oh yeah, they're a dark horse to finish for sure.
You know, you guys have like Joe Thornton, that brings veteran experience and leadership. Obviously,
They've got a good decor. They've got a good.
You're starting the season off with Bennett. You're starting the season off with Reinhardt.
Yeah.
You already have Huberdeau. You have Barkov. You have Duclair. You know, you have so many offensive threats. You have Hornquist, and then on defense, you're getting Ekblad from injury. Because he got injured last season. You have Montour. You have Uyghur. You know, and then you have Bobrovsky as a backup,
And let's
potential
be honest,
backup.
he's a bit shaky.
That's kind of funny though. That $10 million goalie being a backup is just funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's a
I don't know.
bad
To
contract.
me, that I never understood. There's one
Well,
thing
he
that,
played before the year before he got that contract. He was phenomenal, though.
yes, but
Yeah, with the
they
Columbus Blue
drafted
Jackets.
Spencer Knight and then went to go sign Bobrovsky for $10 million. Like that to me made no sense.
Well, I guess they didn't think this guy was gonna become what he is.
Dude, he's unbeaten at the NHL level technically, right? If you don't count playoffs, which is impressive. But
They have a good team. He's surrounded by a good team, defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
And, you know,
But he
that gives a
himself's
lot
a
of
good
confidence
goalie.
to a young goalie like that.
like the other thing,
Knowing that you're on a really good team moving forward.
The other thing with Spencer Knight is not only the fact because some goalies come in, they play well, but it's because the team in front of them make the goalie look good. I think Spencer Knight made Florida look good last year, in my opinion. Like when he came in, you could see that he was confident, he was prepared, and he embraced the NHL job, and he took it, and he was like, you know what, I'm running with it, and I think he's gonna be the starter, and I think he's gonna play a lot of games, and I think he's going to be very, very good.
Well, if you looked at the Florida Tampa Bay matchup in the first round, they were scoring goals, they were playing defense, but who was letting in horrible goals? Drieger and Bobrovsky. And when Spencer Knight
Bobrovsky had a really bad year last year.
And when Spencer Knight came in, he created stability.
Yeah.
Less goals were going in.
Yeah.
You know,
He
obviously he
outperformed
faced
both of
Tampa
them.
Bay. You know, it's really hard, especially at that young age.
I think he's gonna play like 60 games.
Spencer Knight?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be more. I don't know about 60. I think he'll play I think him and Bobrovsky are going to split.
I don't think they're gonna split.
But
if Bobrovsky's gonna be playing the way he's been playing lately,
I think
they're
think
split.
Knight's going to get more starts than him, but I think Bobrovsky's going to get like a good 30, 40 starts.
Spencer Knight,
And I think Bobrovsky is gonna be a hard guy to move to for that team.
Spencer Knight this season is gonna be so good moving forward that Bobrovsky's contract will be regarded as the worst contract.
ever.
It may be already, but because of this,
I think it's the worst contract
this
ever.
young man's potential.
Worse than DiPietro? I don't think so.
No.
Well, DiPietro was more about the length of the contract and not about.
That guy fleeced everyone.
Yeah.
But because of this guy's talent and what he brings to the team and what he's already accomplished so far, moving forward, he's just gonna make Bobrovsky look horrible.
The other thing with Spencer Knight, and then this one warning that I just want to give to people, it's a very, very small sample size that he had in the NHL, right? So
yeah, of course.
True.
Obviously-
he played against Tampa.
he played 2 games against Tampa, and he played 4 games in total.
Like you're going up against Stamkos, Point, Kucherov,
Yeah.
Gord.
Yeah, but the
all
other
in
thing
one
is too,
night.
I think
that
this
defense.
year, this year, what's going to be interesting with Spencer Knight is he's going to be in a division where there's a lot of shooters, a lot of good shooters. Kucherov, Stamkos. He's going to play in a division that has Ovechkin. He's going to play in a conference that has Ovechkin. He's going to see every team in the NHL probably, right? And I think for him, it's going to be a matter of, okay, how's he going to fare up against a guy like Matthews? Like, is he going to be able to stop Matthews? Is he going to be able to stop Ovechkin? Is he going to be able to stop guys like McDavid and McKinnon?
He doesn't have to worry as much though, because his team overall is fantastic.
Yeah, but it's also about you have
Less
to
pressure
see
on the
elite
kid.
goalies, right? Stop elite players.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's going to be the big question with Spencer Knight is how's he going to be able to fare against guys like Matthews, guys like Kucherov, guys like Ovechkin, guys who can put the puck in the net. That's going to be the biggest test for Spencer Knight. But I think he's capable of doing it. I think he's going to.
And as much as we should on
really,
Bobrovsky, I think he's also going to be a good mentor for the kid.
Yeah, but Bobrovsky, the biggest issue with Bobrovsky is I think he has attitude problems, and I think he doesn't like being the blame. I don't think he likes taking the blame. And I think last year he was horrible. You pay a goalie $10.5 million, you expect him to play like a $10.5 million goalie. And I think Spencer Knight came into the NHL in the first 4 games. They were like, okay, this guy's better than Bobrovsky. Like Bobrovsky he didn't have a good year last year. Hopefully he bounced back.
Like just a bit off topic here, but Carey Price is getting paid $10.5 million.
Yeah, but Carey Price
Carey
Price proved it in the playoffs.
I get it, but it's still a bit overpriced, in my opinion.
No
So
goalies,
if you have a
no
guy like
goalies ever
Carey
were.
Price getting paid overpriced, and then you have a guy like Bobrovsky getting paid the same amount,
Yeah,
But Price
I
is better
don't
than
see it.
Bobrovsky overall. He's accomplished so much more.
it's
than
that,
Bobrovsky.
but also the other thing is too, like Bobrovsky went into the playoffs last year, looked like shit. Carey Price in the playoffs, and everybody says it, he is the best goalie in the playoffs. Carey Price is the guy that if you on any yes, mind you, we played Tampa last year, but he took us to the Stanley Cup final. Like Carey Price took the Montreal Canadiens to the Stanley Cup final last year. If it wasn't for Carey Price, Montreal wasn't getting there. And people can say all these things. If it was Jake Allen, Montreal wasn't going to the
and
Stanley Cup
I
final.
honestly think that night is going to be Florida's Carey Price.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I honestly think that
they
if there's
compared-
anybody
they
to
compared
carry
when-
a team, and the team is already better than the Habs,
yeah.
I think with him, I think he's just
So
missing
we could all
piece.
agree that he's stealing Bobrovsky's spot.
Oh
this season.
yeah,
100%.
Oh, yeah. No
100%.
question about it. Like, but when they drafted Spencer Knight, like
That's
they
why
compared
I'm
him-
concerned. I think like that team's gonna have a hard time moving his salary to another team.
Oh, it's unmovable. At the moment, it's unmovable.
I mean,
They're
they're
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
to
either buy
retain
him out.
half or
They're gonna
buy
have-
him
they're gonna
out,
have
and
to-
there's no point of
Yeah,
buying him out.
that's
How
it.
long is he signed for?
Oh, he's still got
God
another-
knows how long.
He's still got another 6 years, I think, something like that, or 5 years.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
mean-
that. But it's like something ridiculous, and it's buyout
all
penalties.
all these young
Does
men
he have a
that
no
we-
move?
all these young guys we mentioned, man, moving forward, they're all gonna have fantastic contracts. I mean, careers. Obviously, they're gonna sign ludicrous contracts, But obviously, they're gonna earn those contracts. But obviously, our favorite is Caufield to win the Calder. But obviously, these guys give him a run for his money. So I just wanted to say Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed what we had to say. And if you guys have anything else to add on before we close this episode.
No, not really. I mean, just give us some feedback on who you guys think is gonna win the Calder, and that's it. Then we want to know a little bit of your opinions, and yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Well, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and tell people, to check out our content. And we got a lot of good content coming out in the near future. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.